Good evening and welcome to the Raw Feed. I'm Gary Franchi, and what you're about to witness tonight isn't just another news broadcast, it's the unveiling of America's next chapter. We're streaming live worldwide on YouTube, Rumble, and X, and tonight's show is absolutely explosive. Before we dive in, I want you to do something right now. Take out your phone and text this stream to everyone you know who cares about America's future. The algorithms are trying to silence us, but they can't stop direct communication. And while you're at it, make sure you're following us on Rumble and X, because what we're about to discuss might just, well, not get along with the algorithms. Now, in just 13 days, Donald Trump will make history by reclaiming the White House, and tonight we're pulling back the curtain on his master plan that's already sending shockwaves through the globalist establishment. We'll be reading your super chats and Rumble rants between segments, featuring them right here on the screen for the world to see. Your voice matters, and we want to hear your reactions to these groundbreaking developments. So here's what we're covering tonight. Donald Trump's bold move to regain control of the Panama Canal, and yes, he's not ruling out military or economic force. Then there's the Greenland gambit that's got Denmark sweating. We'll reveal how Trump's strategic vision extends to making Canada our 51st state, or maybe that'll be Greenland. We'll see who moves faster. Plus, the economic golden age that's about to explode, and the shocking meta revolution after Zuckerberg's Mar-a-Lago visit. But here's the thing, folks. We can only keep bringing you this unfiltered truth with your support. The mainstream media wants us silenced, but with your donations linked in the description, we can keep fighting the good fight. And speaking of fighting the good fight, we've launched our channel memberships with exclusive perks. We have over 200 members now. You can support the channel, and you'll receive a special acknowledgement in the chat room and unlock exclusive access to the next news team. And for all you patriots out there, we've got something special. Head over to shop.nextnewsnetwork.com and grab your limited edition Mag Avengers Next News swag. Show the world you're part of the movement that is reshaping history. Remember, your super chats get priority between segments. We'll be featuring them on screen, and your voice will be heard by millions worldwide. This is more than just a show. It's a movement, and you are part of it. So we've got a lot to cover tonight, and trust me, you do not want to miss a single minute. The globalists are panicking, the left is melting down, and America is about to remind the world what real power looks like. So stay with us. The Raw Feed starts now, and let's welcome you to the show. Joanne DeMarc, what's up? We got Brian McFall, we got Gerardo, Pothead Kenny, we got The Price is Right dropping a $10 super chat right out the gate. Wow, you were fast on the draw there. Heather Reeve and Sabrina Poe. Cindy is here. Sarah Reynolds is in the house. Okay, you got a super chat. You know the rules, guys. You know the rules. What are they here? Okay. Oh, and we got to welcome our new member. Applause, please. Skills Computer Rehab has become a member. And also, The Price is Right. Let's see here. Thank you for that, Brian. The Price is Right review says, good evening, sir. Good sir. Talk about an intense start to 2025. Trump potentially buying Greenland, annexing Canada, and I'm all here for it. My wishful thinking also, annex Cuba, Mexico, all the way down to Panama. And also another super chat from Craig out the gate. What is up? Nebraska is reporting for duty. Who else is in the house tonight? Checking in on the chat room, Ontario, Canada. Darlene is here. Darlene, how do you feel about the 51st state, Canada, to become? We got Denzel here. We got Kevin Waltman, Nana Berta's songs. We got Pothead Kenny. Who else is in the house? We've got Lawrence and Joanne and Michelle and DBDB, Free Truth Show, Massachusetts Corruption Exposed, Gen X, May Ramos, Bobby Riesling, Jeremy Olson, Joni Hawkins, Sure You is in the house. Everybody is here. All right, folks, should we get at it? Should we get at it? Yes, let's get at it. Good evening, America. The Panama Canal, built with American ingenuity, paid for with American dollars, and given away for $1 under Jimmy Carter. That's right. Well, tonight we're uncovering President-elect Trump's audacious plan to reclaim what's rightfully ours. With China tightening its grip on this crucial waterway, Trump's not just talking, he's ready to act. Military or economic coercion, they're on the table, and Panama's already trembling. The globalists called it diplomacy when they gave it away. They're calling it imperialism when we take it back. But here's the real question. Was it ever really Panama's to keep? Now, folks, while we're talking about reclaiming America's assets, let me tell you about something crucial to protect your wealth. Just like the Panama Canal was given away for $1, your dollars are being devalued every day. Smart money is moving to gold, real physical gold. And my friends at Global Gold Investments, they understand this better than anyone. That number on the screen, 888-700-4148. Give them a call right now and get their 2025 Protect Your Wealth and Retirement Guide absolutely free. Mention Next News and receive a complimentary portfolio analysis. Don't let your wealth slip away. Call that number, 888-700-4148, or visit IRAGoldproof.com. It is linked down below. Okay, so right on cue. Wow, we had that press conference today, and in reaction, of course, CNN left in shock. Dana Bash after the conference. Let's listen.
To some new information about what he intends to do, or at the very least is not ruling out when he takes office, including not ruling out a military invasion to conquer Greenland, the Panama Canal, and perhaps the annexation of the country of Canada. There is some
look at her face, man. She is just freaking out. You can just see it all over her face. Okay. And as you know, Donald Trump posted this today. Yes, he actually posted this on his Truth Social. He's going to turn the Gulf of Mexico into the Gulf of... This is an actual post from Donald Trump today on his Truth Social. You got to love it, right? And it looks like it was something he grabbed from the Dilly Mean team. And so here, let's just take a... We got a lot of reaction to get to, but let's set the stage with some of the comments that were made today.
As well,
here's Donald
Trump.
The
Panama Canal is a disgrace. What took place at the Panama Canal? Jimmy Carter gave it to them for $1, and they were supposed to treat us well. I thought it was a terrible thing to do. You know, it was the most expensive structure ever built in the history of our country, relatively. It would be the equivalent of substantially over $1 trillion today. We lost 38,000 people. Think of it, 38,000 people, they died from malaria, mosquitoes. They were unable to stop the mosquitoes. They paid people 5 times more to take the job. Many of those people died. We gave it away for $1. But the deal was that, you know, they have to treat us fairly. They don't treat us fairly. They charge more for our ships than they charge for ships of other countries.
Ooh, there it is. That's it. That's all he's got to bring up. They charge us more. And here's more. A reporter asking him, can you assure the world that as you try to control Greenland and Panama, you won't use military or economic coercion?
You're not to Greenland and the Panama Canal, so forth. Can you assure the world that as you try to get control of these areas, you are not going to use military or economic coercion?
No.
And can you tell us a little bit about what your plan is? Are you going to negotiate a new treaty? Are you going to ask the Canadians to hold a vote? What is the strategy?
Yeah, I can't assure you. You're talking about Panama and Greenland. No, I can't assure you on either of those two. But I can say this. We need them for economic security. The Panama Canal was built for our military. I'm not going to commit to that now. It might be that.
And we have some more from Trump earlier today. Before we get to all the reaction, Trump suggests military or economic coercion. This is a longer cut.
Coercion? You are not going to use military or economic coercion?
No.
And can you tell us a little bit about what your plan is? Are you going to negotiate a new treaty? Are you going to ask the Canadians to hold a vote? What is the strategy?
Yeah, I can't assure you. You're talking about Panama and Greenland. No, I can't assure you on either of those two. But I can say this. We need them for economic security. The Panama Canal was built for our military. I'm not going to commit to that now. It might be that you'll have to do something. Look, the Panama Canal is vital to our country. It's being operated by China. China. And we gave the Panama Canal to Panama. We didn't give it to China. And they've abused it. They've abused that gift. It should have never been made, by the way. Giving the Panama Canal is why Jimmy Carter lost the election, in my opinion, more so maybe than the hostages. The hostages were a big deal. But if you remember, and nobody wants to talk about the Panama Canal now because, it's inappropriate, I guess, but because it's a bad part of the Carter legacy. But he was a good man. Look, he was a good man. I knew him a little bit, and he was a very fine person, but that was a big mistake. Giving the Panama Canal to Panama was a very big mistake. We lost 38,000 people. It cost us the equivalent of $1 trillion, maybe more than that. Probably the most expensive, they say it was the most expensive structure, if we call it a structure, which I guess you can, ever built. And giving that away was a horrible thing. And I believe that's why Jimmy Carter lost the election, even more so than the hostages. Those two things.
If I could follow up on Ukraine and Iran.
So this was explosive today. And of course, like I mentioned, the Gulf of America is on the table too. Marjorie Taylor Greene has also stated that she just introduced a bill, but here's the Gulf of Mexico remarks.
We're going to be announcing at a future date pretty soon. We're going to change, because we do most of the work there and it's ours. We're going to be changing, sort of the opposite of Biden, where he's closing everything up, essentially getting rid of $50 to $60 trillion worth of assets. We're going to be changing the name of the Gulf of Mexico to the Gulf of America, which has a beautiful ring that covers a lot of territory. The Gulf of America, what a beautiful name. And it's appropriate. It's appropriate. And Mexico has to stop allowing millions of people to pour into our country. They can stop them. And we're going to put very serious tariffs on Mexico and Canada, because Canada, they come through Canada too. And the drugs that are coming through are at record numbers. And
how about you put a wall up down there by the Darien Gap too, Mr. President? Okay, so here is this is the bill. Diligent Denizen reported 3 hours ago. Georgia U.S. Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene has introduced a bill to change the name of the Gulf of Mexico to the Gulf of America. We are not messing around. House of Representatives to rename the Gulf of Mexico as the Gulf of America, being enacted by the Senate and House of Representatives of the United States of America in Congress assembled. Section 1 short title, this act may be cited as the Gulf of America Act of 2025. Renaming the Gulf of Mexico shall be known as the Gulf of America. Any reference in a law, map, regulation, document, paper, or any other record of the United States to the Gulf of Mexico shall be deemed to be reference to the Gulf of America. The Secretary of Commerce, acting through the Administrator of the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, shall oversee the implementation of the renaming described in subsection A with respect to each federal document and map. Not later than 180 days after the date of the enactment of this section, the head of each federal agency shall update each document and map of the federal agency in accordance with the renaming described in subsection A. Yeah, folks, it's happening. The bill is already in play. Now, Donald Trump's been talking about this stuff. He's been talking about the Panama Canal for quite a minute. I mean, before the new year, he was talking about it. And even back then, we had this guy who's the president of the Panama president firing back after the first utterances of Trump in his remarks.
And fellow citizens, as president, I want to state clearly that every square meter of the Panama Canal and its adjacent area belongs to Panama and will remain so. The sovereignty and independence of our country are non-negotiable. Every Panamanian, here or anywhere in the world, carries it in their heart, and it's part of our history of struggle.
And it's also part of our history of struggle too, sir. So back on January 2nd, Panama's foreign minister, he also weighed in, praising the strong operational relationship with the U.S. and expressed optimism about working with Trump, but he said there's nothing to discuss regarding the canal. Let's listen to his remarks right now. This was just a few days ago, and here it is.
Our canal service in the U.S., we've always had a very beneficial relationship with this administration. Just to emphasize that, we've worked very closely. The same day President Molino signed in 69 minutes, and understanding with the purpose of better managing irregular migration. It's a sign of the great operational relationship that exists between both countries. Up to this moment, we are working on the expansion. Biden, and we are sure that starting January 20th, we will work the same way, maybe even better, with the expansion of the Trump SEO. Of course, we always are interested in more ahead, as they do, regarding their country.
Will there be any communication immediately once the President-elect of the U.S., Donald Trump, takes office about this Panama Canal issue and what he has stated from the Panamanian government?
Regarding that, I have to say that President Moreno has been clear about the canal. There's nothing to discuss with the U.S. or any other country. I want to emphasize Panama has had for 25 years an asset at the service of the world. I believe it's one of the best partnerships between a country and the world. Our canal serves over 180 countries, more than 190 ports, and 1,900 routes. The port that benefits the most for receiving and for sending, for importing and for exporting, by far, a huge difference, is the Egyptian port. That is to say, we, at this moment, already provide a great benefit to the world, a great benefit particularly to the U.S. through the Port of Houston. I think here in this situation, our motto fits perfectly by Moody Perez on the next 9th of
January will be the burial of the next 9th of January will be the burial of former President Jimmy Carter in the U.S. Will there be any delegation present from Panama in that country for these events?
You know that this is a state funeral and the protocol is controlled and managed in the U.S. We will simply adhere to what is required.
Houston and Egypt are the biggest beneficiaries of the Panama Canal. So he's basically just gave us a couple looks into some weak points where strong negotiations can come from. Now, I mean, Houston's one thing, but Egypt is another. Okay. Now, this is on December 27th. This was published by CNN. And this is former Defense Secretary Mark Esper, Trump's former Defense Secretary Mark Esper, saying it's a negotiating tactic.
Chinese.
I don't know, man. I think this is getting a little bit more than negotiating at this point.
Amidst all of this, Mr. Secretary, President-elect Trump has been talking a lot about potentially expanding U.S. territory. He's talked about absorbing Canada and Greenland. Now he's suggesting taking control of the Panama Canal, just like he did in his first term, talked about it. You worked under Trump. Is this something that he's seriously considering?
Well, we don't know. I think the best assessment is that it's a negotiating tactic, whether he's trying to reduce shipping rates in the Panama Canal or just somehow interested in acquiring Greenland. I don't know. But to me, the common thread that I think is an important one are Chinese pursuing interests in both Greenland and Panama. We know that in Greenland, for example, it's believed to include nearly a quarter of the world's strategic reserves of rare earth materials, lithium, graphite, things like that. And the Chinese, for years, have been trying to get in there to set up mines and to mine that and to continue to dominate those sectors. And likewise in Panama, we know the 5 ports down there, they control 2 of them. And we know, or at least I believe, that there are government people down there collecting data on shipping, monitoring traffic, conducting espionage. And we should be very concerned about Chinese presence in Panama, and of course not just Panama, but all of Latin America.
So it's clear that China, they are controlling some of that area down there. Donald Trump's like, hell no. And world leaders are on high alert now.
Even going into these next 25 days, get ready, because we are entering this new era of American governance, which is very different than what we've seen the past number of years, and potentially even more different than what we saw during the first Trump administration. I think when you look at the big picture of what's happening with a lot of these posts around Panama, around Canada, around Greenland, we're looking at pressure coming at different directions, whether it's tariffs, whether it's shipping, whether it's the president's elect's view on what the world order should be. In the past, we've seen these as negotiating tactics, as let's try to bring everyone to the table, have the conversation, but also the pressure campaign, as we've seen even here with the congressional nominations for his cabinet and the reaction from Congress. It is beginning to have a conversation, and this conversation is now happening essentially every day in almost every corner of the world, as many people, world leaders and people here in this country, wonder what will happen on day one. Potentially what we're seeing now is that foundation being laid for a very interesting first couple of days, first 100 days and beyond, of what America could look like, what policies could look like going into this second Trump administration.
Oh, it's happening, friends. It's happening indeed. Here we have CNN's David on CNN. David Urban says Trump's Greenland and Panama Canal strategies aren't just bold; they are brilliant, citing historical precedents.
If it's true, this is all just a negotiating tactic, and we have seen this before from Trump in his first term and since then. Why would you expect Panama, Canada, and Denmark? I mean, they're all allies of the U.S. Denmark and Canada are treaty allies. I mean, mutual defense treaties with both of them under NATO. Why would you expect them or the president-elect to respond to this kind of brinksmanship positively, given the way he's talking about taking their land?
Yeah, so, Jim, I'm not sure he's talking their land. I think, there's the Monroe Doctrine, which I know everyone's familiar with, or maybe people aren't familiar with, but the
sure. Sphere of influence, American sphere,
yeah, and in the Western Hemisphere, right? And then there was the Roosevelt corollary to the Monroe Doctrine, which allowed you to carry a big stick and kind of work up and down the Americas to keep American interests at bay. And now this is the Trump corollary to the Monroe Doctrine, right? We're going to have that to secure America. Look, the United States has looked to buy Greenland before. In 1867, the State Department said we should buy Greenland. At the same time, we were buying Alaska from the Russians. In 1946, President Truman tried to buy Greenland from the Democrats, recognizing its strategic importance, its geopolitical significance, its mineral assets there. So it's not a crazy idea. It's been thought about a bunch of times before. The Panama Canal, completely, we've seen this. We've seen this before. George H.W. Bush, when the treaty was signed in 77 and ratified, there was an out for America. The neutrality of the Panama Canal was ever threatened. We could use our military force to go back and make it neutral again. We did that in 1989.
Wait, are you saying Trump is talking about using military force to take the Panama Canal back?
No, listen, Jim, I'm saying that there is an out in the canal, in the treaty, that says if the neutrality of the canal is ever threatened by the Chinese or whomever else, the United States has the right to go back in. We did that before in Operation Just Cause. We did it.
So Donald Trump confirming today that, well, military options are on the table. I don't think it's going to get to that. I think he's going to strong arm Panama and say, hey, bring down these costs for our ships, give us equal treatment, kick out the Chinese, get their influence out of the Panama Canal, and let's have an even playing field. I think that's all he's really trying to get here, and he's pushing everyone off balance with what he said today, with his tweets, And now everyone's talking about it. It's on every news channel. It's wall-to-wall coverage. And the world leaders are certainly off guard. Trump War Room posting this 8 hours ago. Panama is violating its canal treaty by cozying up to China, risking U.S. safety. And they were linking to a New York Post article. And humorously, MJ Truth Ultra posted people keep changing the Wikipedia page on Gulf of Mexico to say Gulf of America so bad the Wikipedia decided to lock down the page. Oh, and then we have Marjorie Taylor Greene. Nick Adams, he says the left wanted to and succeeded in renaming monuments, memorials, schools, military bases, and streets. If the name wasn't woke, they renamed it. Now President Trump wants to rename our Gulf the Gulf of America, and the left is up in arms. I guess we found the one name that triggers them the most, America. And we also have this was when Trump was on with Tucker Carlson.
They control it. So we built a thing called the Panama Canal. We lost 35,000 people to the mosquito, malaria.
Yeah.
We lost 35,000 people building. We lost 35,000 people because of the mosquito. Vicious. They had to build under nets. But this is one of the true 7 wonders of the world. And you take a look at the Panama Canal. It was such an incredible engineering marvel. We sold it under Jimmy Carter. We sold it to Panama for $1. The following day, they quadrupled the amount of money that ships had to pay to get across. They didn't lose one ship. And now they've made it much bigger, and now they've widened it. They've doubled it, right? They've more than doubled it. And it's one of the most profitable things. Any time it's just incredible, right? We gave it away for $1. China now controls it. They actually control the Panama Canal. They run it, they control it. And we shouldn't let that happen. And we can't let China be in Cuba. And they'll get out. If I'm president, they'll get out. Because I had a very good relationship with President Xi, but he respected this country, he respected me. And he'll get out. And we can't let them run the Panama Canal. We built the Panama Canal. Should have never been given to Panama. We should have had it. But we gave it. They quadrupled. In one day, they lifted the fees, which are, pretty big for these massive ships to go through, right? Rather than going around the Cape and through all the tremendous storms, such beauty, it's beautiful stuff. But you didn't want to get caught in those storms. Those were storms that wiped out the biggest ships. And we go through the Panama Canal, we built it, and we gave it away for $1. Think of that. How stupid are we? We have done the stupidest things in this country.
Yep, and it's all because of weak leadership in the United States, and they just give it all away. Well, Donald Trump is reclaiming American greatness for America's sake. Now, here is what the mainstream media won't tell you. The Panama Canal situation isn't just about waterways. It's about American sovereignty. Trump's message is crystal clear. The era of giving away American assets is over. China's already got their hooks in Panama, but that's about to change. We're looking at a complete restructuring of global power starting right in our own backyard. The Gulf of Mexico, soon to be the Gulf of America. The Panama Canal coming back home where it belongs. So here's tonight's question for you to discuss in the comments. If China is already controlling Panama's ports, shouldn't America have the right to take back the canal by any means necessary? And while you're answering that, head over to shop.nextnewsnetwork.com and grab your exclusive MAGA Avengers gear. Show the world that you stand for American strength. All right, let's check in with the comments section. What are you guys saying? Any super chats to speak of? Nebraska reporting for duty. Robin has become a member. What's up, Robin? Welcome. And also dropping a $10 super chat. Thank you for that. No message, just $10. Much appreciated. So what do you guys think? Military or economic might? What's it gonna take? Esther says, annex Mexico too. What's up, Mary in Georgia? AZ in the house. What's up, Catherine? Bad Democrat, says Tim. Wait till all the celebrities move to Canada, then annex it so they'll have to move again. Yeah, I saw that. Somebody said that on X today. I thought that was hilarious, right? Oh, man. Daisy Duke. Oh, my, sounds scary. I sure thank the servicemen and women. Annex Mexico too. 808 at Tim. One world government, says Rick Smith. Well, that is something people are talking about. Is this just a move to consolidate into a North American Union? Was this the plan all along, to let Trump win so he could consolidate North America? It's a scary thought, but it's what people are talking about right now. We got another super chat just come through. Let's see. Trump knows the power of words, says Geneva. $4.99. Thank you for that. I did see another big comment. We don't like you calling it Trump's world order. Oh, come on. We do a little trolling, right? That's what it's called. We do a little trolling. But you see, I think there's a difference. There's a difference between calling it Trump's world order and the New World Order. Because Trump's world order revolves around America first. That's why I chose to put that on our thumbnail tonight. Trump's world order. To differentiate it from the globalist world order. Do you understand, Juanita? I don't like you calling it Trump's world order. We didn't vote MAGA USA first just to create our own world order. No, Trump's world order. Stop calling it that, please. Free world. Yes, that's what I'm trying to say. Trump's world order is America first. That's what it's about. Okay. Dino Mike says, I can't wait to buy property on the Gulf. Am I wrong? Am I wrong in saying it? Trump world order? I think it has a nice ring to it. Okay? Yeah, no more New World Order. Time for the Trump World Order. That's what I'm trying to say here. Okay, let's get to our next topic right now. All right. How is this going to happen? Tonight, America, we're witnessing history in the making. Donald Trump Jr. has just landed in Greenland, and the reception, absolutely electric. The mainstream media mocked Trump's interest in Greenland back in 2019, but who's laughing now? With China and Russia expanding their Arctic presence, Trump's vision suddenly doesn't seem so crazy after all. Denmark's annual $700 million loss could be America's strategic gain. And the people of Greenland are already wearing MAGA hats, folks. That's right. And when Trump says he won't rule out military or economic coercion, you better believe the globalists are shaking. And just like Greenland's ice is melting away, folks, so is your body's natural collagen. After age 20, your collagen reserves drop by 12% every decade, but here is the solution. It's a revolutionary collagen formula combining the 5 most crucial types of collagen for maintaining your youthful appearance. Right now at healthwithgary.com, you can get 51% off plus free VIP health coaching for life, a free ebook, the 14 Foods for Amazing Skin. Don't let time take its toll. Visit healthwithgary.com today. This offer won't last as long as Greenland's ice sheets. So I think we have a picture here of the next governor of Greenland. Yeah, there he is. There's the next governor of Greenland, Donald Trump Jr. Oh, you got to love the AI-generated images. This was posted by I Love America News, the next governor of Greenland. Oh, and here's the first building that's going up in Greenland now. Yep, they're going to start building a Trump Tower. Of course, I joke. These are the memes that people are sharing. But here we have this. This was posted by Justin Wells, filming for Art of the Surge in Greenland. President Trump calling into a lunch with Donald Trump Jr., Charlie Kirk, and Sergio Gore, having lunch with the local community in Nuuk.
Come here now. My son, and he's a real hunter, fisherman, all the things that you love.
and I thought it'd be great to go up there with his two very talented friends and the other group, a lot of other people. So I just want to say that it's a very special place. It needs security for itself, but it also needs security very much for the world. The location really, you see the people and the ships sailing around, and they're not the right ships, and they're not the ships you want to know about. So we need security, and our country needs it, and the whole world needs it.
Yes.
It's so strategically located.
Yeah.
So it's really imperative.
You are right.
You guys like that, right?
Yeah, we're learning a lot. It's been great. Actually, incredibly beautiful place. The people are incredible. The welcome was spectacular. It's pretty amazing.
Well, that's great. Well, you go have a good time, everybody, and we're going to treat you well. You know that, and just take care of yourselves. Thank you all very much.
See you soon.
Be good.
Thank you.
Oh, wow. Look at that, man. It is not a bluff. Don Jr. is there to kickstart negotiations. Of course, we have Dana Bash. She's freaking out over there at CNN.
Some new information about what he intends to do, or at the very least is not ruling out when he takes office, including...
Watch her face. Just watch Dana Bash's face here on CNN.
Not ruling out a military invasion to conquer Greenland, the Panama Canal, and perhaps the annexation of the country of Canada. There is some...
Oh, yeah, of course. She got a rate proposed community note for that lie, CNN. President-elect Trump did not mention annexing Canada in his speech. Yeah, CNN getting community noted. Here it is, Donald Trump announcing he might tariff Denmark at a very high level in a potential dispute over acquiring Greenland.
Well, back on Greenland, your position is clear, but have you directed your staff to take specific actions to draw plans? And can you elaborate again? You didn't rule out military coercion.
Well, we need Greenland for national security purposes. I've been told that for a long time, long before I even ran. I mean, people have been talking about it for a long time. You have approximately 45,000 people there. People really don't even know if Denmark has any legal right to it. But if they do, they should give it up because we need it for national security. That's for the free world. I'm talking about protecting the free world. You look at, you don't even need binoculars. You look outside, you have China ships all over the place. You have Russian ships all over the place. We're not letting that happen. We're not letting it happen. And if Denmark wants to get to a conclusion, but nobody knows if they even have any right, title, or interest. The people are going to probably vote for independence or to come into the United States. But if they did do that, then I would tariff Denmark at a very high level.
Have you asked your staff to draw plans for acquisition? I mean, are you actively
No, we're not at that stage, but we have people. I haven't even entered office yet.
Secondly, sir, Elon Musk has drawn some criticism and a lot of...
I haven't even entered office yet. Here's a shot of Trump Force One as it touched down in Greenland. Not a sight I thought I would be seeing this early. I mean, we are still in the transition phase, and Trump is already flexing, bringing Trump Force One to Greenland. Let's go. Oh my goodness, man. This is just crazy. Okay, here's what Adam, my buddy, says. If Greenland joins the U.S., their standard of living will significantly increase. In addition, they will help us to counter both Putin and the CCP, which are looking to expand into the Arctic with the melting ice unlocking shipping lanes and resources. Yeah, here's a shot from inside of Trump Force One on approach. Coming in hot, Donald Trump Jr. wrote. Well, actually, really, really cold. What a cool perspective from the cockpit of Trump Force One on approach to Greenland right there. Donald Trump, he did write that Greenland loves America and Trump, incredible people with an equally awesome reception. They just want to be able to utilize some of the incredible resources that they have and allow themselves, their country, and their kids to flourish. Now, I did ask Grok, like, how could that even be possible? We'll get to that in a second here. But we played this yesterday, and this is one of the people who lived there who says, buy it.
Every year about...
Okay. So, like, if you could tell Trump anything, what would it be?
Buy us.
Buy Greenland?
Buy Greenland.
Why do you want Trump to buy Greenland?
Because we don't want to be colonized by Danish government anymore. We get ripped every year about our minerals from Greenland. We are the richest nation in the world, and we don't get to use it. Denmark's using us too much.
Do you like America?
I love America, but people are too fat over there.
Okay. So, like,
Denmark is abusing the people of Greenland. And here's a map. This is why Trump and Elon want Greenland. I'm not sure where Elon falls into this, but you could see all of these reserves all around the map. This is from the Wall Street Journal. Iron deposits, gold deposits, uranium deposits, zinc, copper, and other. So it is a mineral-rich nation, and Donald Trump wants to have a piece of it for the United States. Wolf writes, imagine a world where Greenland joins the U.S. not by force or by politics, but by the will of its people, a new era of unity, where we will share our innovations like sustainable energy and space exploration with Greenland's breathtaking landscapes. Together, we could pioneer the next chapter in human history, making the impossible possible. What would you do if Greenland was part of the American dream? Think about that. So I asked Grok, I said, Grok, how is this possible? How could this happen? And here's what Grok told me. I posted it to X. It says, Greenland joining the U.S., it's complex. First, Greenland would need to gain full independence from Denmark through a referendum. Then both Greenland and the United States would need to agree on terms, with U.S. Congress approving territory status or statehood. I found this. This was a last-minute clip here from Steve Forbes explaining how Trump could actually acquire Greenland. But here's the Greenland Prime Minister calling for independence from Denmark.
Economic. Here in Greenland, we need to have some growth. We need to have some economic growth and diversify our economy. And of course, we welcome our strong partners, like-minded nations as first. But if they don't invest, there's a lot of companies who also want to invest in this country.
Yeah, like the United States, right? Let me see if I got all the clips from that press conference today. Let's see. So this is the photograph that they took. Look at that. All of them there. They want to be able to utilize some of the incredible resources that they have. This is Donald Trump posting this. Donald Trump Jr. posting this on X earlier. This is when he arrived. Let's watch.
Guys, we're here in Nuuk, Greenland. This is the founder, 1721. That yellow house with the red top, that was his original spot. That's where he moved. This is where it all started out here. Just incredible scenery. Super cool stuff.
Yeah, I think I saw the foundation of a Trump Tower being laid right there. Here's another meme, Gunter Eagleman. Trump's Green New Deal make Greenland great again. For purposes of national security and freedom throughout the world, the United States of America feels that the ownership and control of Greenland is an absolute necessity. That's what Trump wrote in his statement when he announced that he had chosen Ken Howry to serve as the ambassador to Denmark. That's what really kicked off this whole thing. And here's the remark about control. How would he get control? Here's Donald Trump.
We're not going to use Greenland and the Panama Canal, so forth. Can you assure the world that as you try to get control of these areas, you are not going to use military or economic coercion?
No.
And can you tell us a little bit about what your plan is? Are you going to negotiate a new treaty? Are you going to ask the Canadians to hold a vote? What is the strategy?
Yeah, I can't assure you. You're talking about Panama and Greenland. No, I can't assure you on either of those two. But I can say this. We need them for economic security. The Panama Canal was built for our military. I'm not going to commit to that now. It might be that.
It might be that we need military or economic coercion. Elon Musk said if the people of Greenland want to be part of America, which I hope they do, they would be most welcome. And here's, he was quote tweeting Don Jr. and some photos that were taken earlier today. Now, the big question is, how would this actually happen? How could this merger occur? Well, thankfully, we have Steve Forbes explaining how President-elect Trump can actually acquire Greenland. He posted this 11
to
hours
succeed. Here's the way for President Trump to get Greenland. Hello, I'm Steve Forbes, and this is What's Ahead, where you get the insights you need to better navigate these turbulent times. President-elect Trump's efforts to buy Greenland from Denmark went nowhere in his first term and are no more likely to succeed in his second. Countries buying territory from other nations has been out of style for over a century. The last time we did it was with the Virgin Islands, which we purchased from Denmark in 1917. But here's how we can pull it off now and save money as well. Buying Greenland directly would cost tens of billions of dollars. The strategy is simple. Greenland declares its independence from Denmark. In fact, the current Prime Minister of Greenland has stated his desire to do just that. A referendum could come as soon as this April. The next step is the big one. Have Greenland then apply for statehood. Voila, the deed is done. There is precedent here. Texas broke away from Mexico in 1836, becoming a separate nation. Several years later, it became our 28th state. The advantages for everyone are clear. It's true, Denmark would be left feeling like a sports team losing a big player to free agency, since it would no longer be getting a huge bundle of cash from Uncle Sam. But Copenhagen would no longer be liable for its annual subsidy of around $600 million a year to this humongous island of 56,000 people. Nor would Denmark be on the hook for the $1.5 billion it recently promised Greenland to beef up its defenses there. Trump gets the satisfaction of achieving the biggest territorial expansion in U.S. history, bigger even than the Louisiana Purchase or the acquisition of Alaska from Russia in 1867. Greenland's location makes it critical for our security, which is why China has already become the biggest foreign investor in Greenland, a move that it began 20 years ago. Making Greenland a state would enable us to solidify our security, just as we do with Alaska. Democrats would love granting statehood to Greenland. The electorate there is left-wing, meaning 2 more Senate seats for the Democrats, as well as an additional seat in the House of Representatives, where the balance between the parties is as tight as ever. Democrats would have a guarantee of 3 more electoral votes, which could be critical in a tight presidential election. Greenlanders should quickly come to see the virtues of such a move. In addition to rock-solid security, this group of 56,000 people would have outsized political influence. Benefits would flow accordingly. Certainly, the new state would do very well from massive mineral investment from the rest of the U.S. Ecotourism would boom. Unemployment, which is high, would fall. Is the population too small for statehood? There is precedent for admitting a big landmass with a tiny population as a state. Nevada, which is the 7th largest state geographically, was admitted to the Union in 1864 with a population of all of 6,000 people. Anyway, Congress sets the standards. Statehood for Greenland? Let's get it done. I'm Steve Forbes. Thanks for listening. Do send in your comments and suggestions, and look forward to being with you soon again.
Steve Forbes is like, let's get it done. Holy cow. Wow. Wow. Yeah. Declare independence, apply for statehood, and there you go. You don't got to sign any checks. You don't got to put out any cash. Colton Blake writes, for those who think that Donald Trump is a lunatic for attempting to buy Greenland, the U.S. has been trying to purchase it since 1867. The most recent offer was made in 1946 under Democrat President Harry Truman. So if the Democrats are going to get, all bent out of shape and triggered by Donald Trump even suggesting these moves, well, there you have it. Yeah, a Democrat. You going to argue with your own? Yeah. Let's go back to 2019 when Donald Trump was first talking about it.
We protect, I don't know, it got released somehow. It's just something we talked about. Denmark essentially owns it. We're very good allies with Denmark. We protect Denmark like we protect large portions of the world. So the concept came up, and I said, certainly I'd be, strategically it's interesting, and we'd be interested, but we'll talk to them a little bit. It's not number one on the burner, I can tell you that.
Would you ever make an exchange with them of any kind for U.S. territory?
Well, a lot of things could be done. I mean, essentially, it's a large real estate deal. A lot of things could be done. It's hurting Denmark very badly because they're losing almost $700 million a year carrying it. So they carry it at a great loss. And strategically for the United States, it would be nice. And we're a big ally of Denmark, and we help Denmark, and we protect Denmark, and we will. In fact, I'm supposed to stop. I'm thinking about going there. I'm not necessarily definitely going there, but I may be going. We're going to Poland, and then we may be going to Denmark. Not for this reason at all, but we're looking at it. It's not number one on the burner.
But it clearly appears to be front and center burner right now before Donald Trump is even taking office. And I thought what was really interesting was what Steve Forbes said is that, hey, the Democrats are going to get, they'll get 2 seats in the Senate. They'll get a seat in Congress. Wow. They'll have more voting power. They'll get more electoral college votes. I mean, it's a win-win all around for the Democrats, isn't it? Well, I have a feeling that if Donald Trump negotiates this, Greenland's going to turn bright red. So the writing is on the wall, patriots, while the left screams about imperialism. They are conveniently ignoring China's growing influence in the Arctic. Greenland isn't just about territory, it's about resources, strategic positioning, and American security. And Don Jr.'s visit isn't a coincidence. And those MAGA hats and Nuuk, they aren't just fashion statements. The people of Greenland see what we see, a future of prosperity under the stars and stripes. So here's tonight's burning question for the comments section. If China can buy up strategic resources worldwide, why shouldn't America secure Greenland through any means necessary to protect our future? Speaking of protection, show your support for American expansion with our new MAG Avengers collection. The globalists won't like it, but that's exactly why you should wear it. Oh, wow. Oh, man. I was not expecting that from Steve Forbes. Definitely. I didn't even watch that clip. I just watched it like 10 seconds. I've been like, okay, let's roll it. And he's like, let's get it done. That's what he said. Oh, T says we need Greenland. Robert says, yo, Cuba, Mexico. And Mexico would have to become part of the USA if we were named Gulf of Mexico to Gulf of America. I don't know. Let's see here. Potted Kenny. Yepers. Hello, Gary in chat, says John C. Patriot 1776. I volunteer to be ambassador to the new U.S. territory of Greenland. Dark-filled MAGA. Oh, dark-filled Mark. We can do anything that we want. Resto guy, he says, go premium. It's cheap and worth it. And hello, John. Sure you. Welcoming John. Gulf of the Americas is salty sailor. Annette Villain. What does she say? What does she say? We will need to change all Greenland street signs into English. No one can pronounce those names. Well, I think that will be a small price to pay. And speaking of small prices to pay, let's talk about what's going on in the Great White North, shall we? Yes, we shall. Ladies and gentlemen, while Trudeau is running for the hills, Trump's setting his sights on our northern neighbor. The mainstream media is calling it impossible, but remember, they said the same thing about Trump becoming president. Tonight, we're exposing the plan to make Canada the 51st state through economic force. No military needed, folks, just pure American economic might. Trudeau says there's not a snowball's chance in hell, but with his resignation, Canada's leadership vacuum is creating the perfect storm. Some Canadians are already cheering for it, and Trump's message is clear. Time to make North America great again. And speaking of pressure, patriots, let's talk about something affecting half of all American adults, high blood pressure. Just as Trump's applying pressure on Canada, your blood pressure might be putting pressure on your heart, but there's hope. Our friends at GlycoBoost have developed a revolutionary formula that helps manage blood pressure naturally. Visit boostwithgary.com and get up to 40% off their triple action formula. Don't let high blood pressure stop you from witnessing America's historic expansion. Get protected naturally at boostwithgary.com. That's boostwithgary.com for up to 40% off. It is linked below. So what would it look like? What would it look like? Donald Trump today, he gave a press conference and set the entire world ablaze with his remarks. And this is the ongoing. First it was like trolling. First we're like, no, this is all trolling. He's not serious. But no, he's definitely serious. Listen in. This is some remarks from his press conference earlier today.
It's all right. Mr. President, if we were to work under the assumption that you're serious about making Canada the 51st state of the United States, the leader of the Conservative Party in Canada said, under no circumstance will it ever be the 51st state.
Maybe he won't win, but maybe he will. I don't
point, you had suggested.
Listen, I don't care what he says.
But Sir Lopez, you said you were considering military force to acquire Panama and Greenland. Are you also considering military force to annex and acquire Canada?
No, economic force, because Canada and the United States, that would really be something. You get rid of that artificially drawn line, and you take a look at what that looks like. And it would also be much better for national security. Don't forget, we basically protect Canada. But here's the problem with Canada. So many friends up there. I love the Canadian people. They're great. But we're spending hundreds of billions a year to protect it. We're spending hundreds of billions a year to take care of Canada. We lose in trade deficits. We're losing massive. We don't need their cars. You know, they make 20% of our cars. We don't need that. I'd rather make them in Detroit. We don't need the cars. We don't need their lumber. We have massive fields of lumber. We don't need their lumber. We have to unrestrict them because stupid people put, restrictions on, but I can do that with an executive order. We don't need anything they have. We don't need their dairy products. We have more than they have. We don't need anything. So why are we losing $200 billion a year and more to protect Canada? And I said that to, as I called him, Governor Trudeau. I said, listen, what would happen if we didn't subsidize you, if we didn't, because we give them a lot of money. We help them. As an example, we're buying icebreakers, and Canada wants to join us in the buying of icebreakers. I said, we don't really want to have a partner in the buying of icebreakers. We don't need a partner. But no right. Nope. No right. Here's what we have. We have a right not to help them with their financial difficulties because we owe $36 trillion too. We're going to start knocking it out pretty fast, but we're going to be able to do it because of energy and other things. But no right. No right. But why are we supporting a country, $200 billion plus a year? Our military is at their disposal. All of these other things, they should be a state. That's why I told Trudeau when he came down, I said, what would happen if we didn't do it? He said Canada would dissolve. Canada wouldn't be able to function if we didn't take their 20% of our car market. They send us hundreds of thousands of cars. They make a lot of money with that. They send us a lot of other things that we don't need. We don't need their cars, and we don't need the other products. We don't need their milk. We got a lot of milk. We got a lot of everything, and we don't need any of it. So I said to him, well, why are we doing it? He said, I don't really know. He was unable to answer the question, but I can answer it. We're doing it because of habit, and we're doing it because we like our neighbors, and we've been good neighbors. but we can't do it forever, and it's a tremendous amount of money. And why should we have a $200 billion deficit and add on to that many, many other things that we give them in terms of subsidy? And I said, that's okay to have if you're a state. But if you're another country, we don't want to have it. We're not going to have it with European Union either. European Union, we have a trade deficit of $350 billion. They don't take our cars. They don't take our farm product. They don't take anything. And so we're not going to have it with them either.
Oh, man. It is all breaking loose. Now, as you know, Kevin O'Leary of Shark Tank, he was at Mar-a-Lago just a couple days ago. Here's a photograph of him discussing Canada with Donald Trump. And now he did give some kind of freakish keyword triggers when he went on Fox News talking about what went down at Mar-a-Lago, and he brings up the North American Union. Now, the North American Union, if you don't know, it was at one time it was considered conspiracy. It was the merger of Canada, the United States, and Mexico with the NAFTA superhighway running straight through it, and with a unified currency called the Amero. These were all real things that were whispered about, and now we're seeing these are no longer whispers. These are actual terms being thrown about on Fox News by Kevin O'Leary, who has the ear of President Donald Trump. Is this one big grand plan to bring about a North American Union that we warned about? But was that North American Union under the control of the globalists or under the control of the United States? Is this the Trump world order or the globalist world order? And that's where we have to differentiate between the two. And I think people, there's a big debate online about it. People think that that Donald Trump was brought in by the globalists to execute this grand plan to consolidate the United States and Canada and Mexico together with Greenland to create this North American Union, the grand plan. But the question is America in control of it? Is this just an expanded America First agenda? Or is this bending the knee to the globalists? Now, we know Donald Trump, he is anti-globalist all the way. So the way I see this is that this is an expansion of America First policy, putting American interests ahead of the globalists by taking what they want away from them and putting it into American control. Now, I'm sure people are going to have difference of opinion on this, but let's listen to Kevin O'Leary on Fox.
President-elect Trump on this issue?
I had two topics that I wanted to talk to him about. Number one was integrating Canada towards a North American Union for greater strength, just period. The world's a difficult place these days, and most Canadians would like to look at that opportunity without giving up their sovereignty. So low-hanging fruit would be combined currency, for example, combining the Bank of Canada with the Fed, things like that. We are the largest trading partners. And just to ask him,
I like how he just glosses over the biggest points of the entire discussion. Unified currency, unify the banks.
would like to look at that opportunity without giving up their sovereignty. So low-hanging fruit would be combined currency, for example, combining the Bank of Canada with the Fed, things like that. We are the largest trading partners. And just to ask him, because this was on Saturday, to say these meetings you're having with Trudeau and finance ministers from Canada, with all due respect, sir, are a complete waste of time. This guy's going to get eradicated out of the Canadian political landscape. Give the Canadians a chance to re-elect a leader, just like you got re-elected, that has a 4-year mandate, just like you have, and let's get down to business. And I hope they didn't land on deaf ears. I think he saw the rationale in that. That was one topic. But I had another agenda item.
Wow. So Donald Trump clearly talking about this. Now, okay, there's a lot to get to here. Pierre Poilievre has come out and he stated that Canada will never be the 51st state. We will put Canada first. Now, he's the front runner to become the next prime minister. And we also have, obviously, we have Trudeau resigning because he can't handle the heat. Donald Trump's not even in the White House, and he's already throwing in the towel. President Trump has liberated Canada after trolling Trudeau by calling him the governor. Let's just flash back to this real quick.
For dinner. I've also had a chance to reflect and have had long talks with my family about our future. Throughout the course of my career, any success I have personally achieved has been because of their support and with their encouragement. So last night over dinner, I told my kids about the decision that I'm sharing with you today. I intend to resign as party leader, as prime minister.
Bye-bye.
After the party selects its next leader through a robust, nationwide, competitive process.
Okay. Yeah, go dry your eyes, buddy. I understand it's difficult for you. But he actually did weigh in on this today. And Justin Trudeau, here's his tweet. He says, there isn't a snowball's chance in hell that Canada would become part of the United States. Workers and communities in both our countries benefit from being each other's biggest trading and security partner. Okay, but what if you're actually part of the states? Let's see. I don't need to go into all those notes here. But if you want to get a taste of Trudeau, here's a little taste for him.
Because maternal love is the love that's going to change the future of mankind. So we'd like you to...
we like to say people kind, not necessarily mankind, because it's more inclusive.
There we go, exactly. Yes, thank you.
We can all learn from each other.
Yeah, we could all learn by ignoring you. If Canada became the 51st state of the United States, what should we name it? Dr. Clown, PhD. What would you call it? I guess we'd call it Canada, right? Now, let's get back. We got some man on the street here. Let's see what the Canadians are saying on the street.
Love it to do it. How do you feel about becoming the 51st state? I love it. I love it to do it. I'm all in. Donald Trump said this about Canada. He said taxes are far too high, but if Canada was to become our 51st state, their taxes would be cut by more than 60%. Their businesses would immediately double in size, and they'd be military protected like no other country anywhere in the world. True. How do you feel about becoming the 51st state?
Surely, he's got a longer video on his X profile if you want to take a look at that. Trying to find the remarks that... Okay, so here, let's go here. Okay, so Pierre Poilievre said Canada will never be the 51st state. Now, he's the front runner. We are a great and independent country. We're the best friend of the U.S. We spend billions of dollars, hundreds of lives helping Americans. Helping Americans retaliate against certain attacks. We supply the U.S. with billions of dollars of high quality and totally reliable energy, well below market prices. We buy hundreds of billions of dollars in American goods. Our weak and pathetic NDP liberal government has failed to make these obvious points. I will fight for Canada. When I'm prime minister, we will rebuild our military, take back control of the border, and secure both Canada and the U.S. We will take back control of our Arctic to keep Russia and China out. Oh, is there any hint there about Greenland? I don't know. We will axe taxes, slash red tape, and rapidly greenlight massive resource projects to bring home paychecks and production to our country. In other words, we will put Canada first. All right, so that's what the front runner is saying in Canada. Now let's take a look at this. Some TikToker made this video.
And the U.S. would become... What if Canada became the 51st state of the United States? If Canada joined the U.S., the flag would gain a 51st star, and the U.S. would become the largest country in the world, covering 19 million square kilometers, overtaking Russia. Canada's 40 million people would increase the U.S. population to 373 million, keeping it third in global rankings behind India and China. Economically, Canada's 2.9 trillion GDP would make it the third wealthiest state, just after California and Texas. The U.S. defense budget would grow by $26 billion, and American dominance in the Arctic would expand, reinforcing its global influence. However, this merger would spark international concerns. Russia could bolster its Arctic military presence, while China might have to rethink its strategies in the Pacific. Mexico, heavily dependent on the U.S., would face pressure to diversify its partnerships to maintain economic stability.
Wow, I never thought we'd be having this discussion.
Leader of the Conservative.
Never thought we would be having this discussion. Now, this is more from Kevin O'Leary. He says that Canada's Justin Trudeau will go down in history as the idiot king.
Excuse my French. Canadians are in the British parliamentary system, so we have a very short fuse here. The Liberals, of which Trudeau was the leader, had a majority mandate a decade ago. They're about to get wiped out, and they're going to have 60 days to find a new leader. And Pierre, who you just detailed there, is going to become the majority leader, most likely, and he'll be dealing with Trump. So his job, number one, is to get elected. Unfortunately for Trudeau, you have to respect the longevity. He's probably, after Mackenzie King, the longest prime minister in history. But he did it without any executional skills. That's very hard to do, but somehow he did it. But everything he touched over that 10-year period turned to, excuse my French, poo-poo. And the Canadian people finally realized this guy has no idea what he's doing. And unfortunately, his legacy, and these are harsh words, but by the metric of measuring GDP per capita, capital outflow, debt per capita, status of competition in the G20, they have all collapsed. And the one that really wrote him off was the Canadian dollar. Canadians have lost 41% of their net worth during his tenure. And he will go down in history as the idiot king.
The idiot king. That's what they're calling Justin Trudeau. Now, the Ontario Premier Doug Ford says, this is 22 hours ago, says Trump talking about taking over Canada is not a joke. And then he says Canada will buy Alaska and Minnesota in response. Really?
You know something? Well, I know under my watch for Ontario, it'd never be for that at all. We have the greatest country in the world. We have the greatest province anywhere. Any sub-sovereign nation is Ontario and the rest of the provinces as well.
You think he's joking?
You know something, to the president, I'll make him a counteroffer. How about if we buy Alaska and we'll throw in Minnesota and Minneapolis at the same time? So, it's not realistic. I know he likes making these comments and he likes joking around. I take that seriously. He may be joking, but under my watch, that will never, ever happen.
Well, I don't think it's really going to happen, but Sean Hannity's behind it. Let's hear what Sean's saying.
Them in. And by the way, I kind of like the idea, maybe you'll join me, of Greenland, Canada, joining the U.S. I think we should invite them in. And by the way, without the U.S., the Panama Canal would not exist. Yeah, I think we, not China, should be controlling it. And by the way, I kind of...
So Sean Hannity's on board, of course, but he cheerleads everything. Let's get further down the list here. This is, here's the one Canadian politician threatening to take California, Washington, and Oregon. Well, I think they could have them, right?
Hey, Donald, have we got a deal for you? You think we want to be the 51st state? Nah, but maybe California would like to be the 11th province. How about it? California, Oregon, Washington, you've got geography in common with us. And not only that, we've already got a carbon trading system between California and Quebec. We've got some strong alliances on our west coast from British Columbia. There's been a lot of academic papers on the idea of Cascadia. So California, Governor Newsom, and Washington State, Jay Inslee, and newly elected Governor of Oregon, Tina Kotek. How about it? Want to put a referendum to your citizens? Because this is what you deal. Have we got a deal for you? This is what you get. Free health care. Universal free health care. No more one-year-olds who suddenly fall off the Medicaid list and their parents are in the news because they're trying to do a GoFundMe so they can get their daughter to a doctor. Universal free health care. And guess what? Those gun laws that your Congress is too afraid to pass because of the national gun lobby, we already got our strict gun laws. Hey, Donald, have we got a deal for you?
Yeah, I think those are all reasons why Canada needs to be the 51st state. Thanks for selling us on it there. Now, here is Donald Trump reacting to Pierre Poilievre saying Canada will never be the 51st state.
To acquire. Mr. President, if we were to work under the assumption that you're serious about making Canada 51st state of the United States, the leader of the Conservative Party in Canada said, under no circumstances will it ever be the 51st state.
Maybe he won't win, but maybe he will. I don't care.
You had suggested.
Listen, I don't care what he says.
But Sir Lopez, you said you were considering military force to acquire Panama and Greenland. Are you also considering military force to annex and acquire Canada?
No, economic force, because Canada and the United States, that would really be something.
Oh, wow. The world that we are in right now, the Trump world order, is taking shape. Once I thought this was just some trolling, you know what? It's not. Elon Musk posted this 20 hours ago saying it's perfectly articulated, and this is Pierre Poilievre, who is likely to be the next Prime Minister of Canada.
Yes. What are the steps that need to be taken to fix the damages done to inflation?
First and foremost, stop the overspending. Inflation, high taxes, deficits, high interest rates are all symptoms. The disease is overspending. When governments spend too much money, there's only three ways to get it. One is to raise your taxes. The other is to borrow, which means that they'll tax you more later on. And the third way is to print money. Now, printing money seems like a painless way to pay for things, but it's very simple. If you have 10 apples and $10 in the economy, it's a bucket apple. If you double the number of dollars in the economy to 20, you still only have 10 apples. You're not twice as rich, it's just that each apple costs twice as much. And that is a tax on the working people because it chews up the purchasing power of your paycheck, only to pay for excessive government spending, and it balloons the asset values of the billionaires. So it's a real transfer from the have-nots to the have-yachts. Inflation is the worst and most immoral tax. It always results from government creating cash. Our government has created about $700 billion of cash in the last 3 years. So we used to have $1.8 trillion of bills, coins, and bank deposits. That was about 3-4 years ago. Now it's up to 2.5 trillion. So that's extra cash, but the economy has only grown by 4%. So the real things in the economy have only grown by 4%. The cash has grown by 40. So the money supply is growing 10 times faster than the stuff money buys, which creates a bidding war, and that's what's driving up inflation. We have to cap government spending with a dollar-for-dollar law that requires my ministers find $1 of savings for every new dollar of spending, so that they go into their departments, find the waste and mismanagement. They want to spend more here, they have to spend less there, or get a bargain here and there to bring both under budget. Then and only then will we stop the money printing, borrowing, and overtaxation and wrestle inflation to the ground. Thank you.
Wow. And I guess it's pronounced Pierre Poilievre? Poilievre? Yeah. Okay. I do my best here. All right. I do my best. I try. But whoever thought we'd be seeing this, man? We are not even in the new Trump administration yet. So think about it. Canada's resources, America's military might, and no more worrying about our northern border? Well, the globalists are panicking because they know what this means. Total North American dominance. While Pierre Poilievre claims Canada will never be the 51st state, the Canadian people are starting to see the light. Economic force isn't just a strategy. It is the key to peaceful unification. So here is tonight's controversial question for the comments. If Canada's leadership vacuum continues, don't the Canadian people deserve the protection and prosperity that comes with being part of the United States? And while you're pondering that, grab your limited edition MAGAvengers gear at shop.nextnewsnetwork.com. Show everyone you support one nation under Trump. All right. Let's see where we're at now. All right. Mind blown. He's not even taken office yet here in Bay. Mega JC. J-Wag, you're right. Phone died, hugging wall now to text. Pothead Kenny, man. Smoochy Smoochy, make America big again. St. Cruisin', you can't afford Canada as it is. What are you talking about? Duty to rebel. God-given rights. Why do you give CNN a part on your news? Oh, that's a great question. Well, there are certain times when we do have to play clips because they provide a counterpoint to my narrative. And I often have to point out when they're just straight lying to the American people. So that's why. I hope that answers your question. We need to keep our resources. We don't want to be America's closet for oil, gas, and water. Get Joe one of these hats. I support One Nation under Trump, says Mega. Sure, why not? They didn't have U.S. Constitution to begin with. Darkfield Mark. Lauren Wint. Gary, please do not get caught up with PP. He's not our guy. We'll see a new face here in Canada. Okay, Lauren. Laureen. President Trump is a boss businessman. He doesn't have to speak eloquently. Brash works. All right, what happened to One Nation under God? Well, we are One Nation under God. But we're also going to be One Nation under Trump very soon. But that doesn't mean we're not also One Nation under God. Arnold. What's up, Mary? It's up to the Canadian citizens. Take the campaign to them. Okay, all right. I think, yeah, all right. You got it. Okay, Deep Red State wants to take a poll. Brian, let's put a poll up. Can you do that? Are you too busy? Canada a state, press 1 for no and 2 for yes. 1 for no, 2 for yes. Canada a state, press 1 for no or 2 for yes. Oh, here they come. Oh, 2 for yes. Here it is. Thank you, Brian, for putting up that poll. Let's see. Oh, wow. 78% are saying yes so far. All right, let's get to our next segment of the evening. Get ready, America, because what I'm about to tell you isn't just a prediction, it's a guarantee. Trump's promising an economic rocket ship, and SoftBank's already committed $200 billion. The mainstream media is in full meltdown. BuzzFeed gone. Vice shuttered. CNN freezing salaries. Why? Because they know what's coming. The golden age of America. Energy prices about to plummet. Jobs coming back by the hundreds of thousands. And the best part, this is just the beginning. Well, Biden's team claims history will view them kindly. Trump's about to show them what real economic prosperity looks like. And just as Trump's testosterone-fueled economic plan is about to energize America, there's something killing your testosterone levels right now. It's not age, it's not genetics, it's something you're eating every day. Our friends over at Sculpt Nation have uncovered this testosterone-killing food that's destroying your energy and motivation. Want to know what it is? Head to sculptnation.com/NNN right now and watch their eye-opening video. Like America's economy under Trump, your energy levels could be about to explode. Don't miss this crucial information at sculptnation.com/NNN. It is linked below. Now, Donald Trump hosted his first press conference since the certification of the election, and he declared, we are approaching the golden age.
We're approaching the dawn of America's golden age. It's going to be a golden age for America. We have things that nobody else has. We have more natural resources. We have, number one, nobody knew that until I came along. I made us number one. We were number 3. I made us number one in a very short period of time in drilling. And, you know, you can talk about windmills. They litter our country. They're littered all over our country like dropping paper, like dropping garbage in a field, and that's what happens to them because in a period of time they turn to garbage. Most expensive energy ever. They only work if you get subsidy. The only people that want them are the people that are getting rich off windmills, getting massive subsidies from the U.S. government. And it's the most expensive energy there is. It's many, many times more expensive than clean natural gas. So we're going to try and have a policy where no windmills are being built. You know, off the coast of New Jersey, they want to build like 200 windmills. The people are going crazy. Nobody wants them, and they're very expensive. They don't work without subsidy. You don't want energy that needs subsidy. Energy is a good business. You don't need subsidy. But when you build these massive towers, and they're 25 stories tall, 40 stories. They have one 70 stories tall. The blades, they take 3 ships to ship them. It's crazy. They're dangerous. You see what's happening up in the Massachusetts area with the whales, where they had 2 whales wash ashore in, I think, a 17-year period. And now they had 14 this season. The
golden age is coming. Yes, here's a shot. Trump War Room posted this wall-to-wall coverage of Donald Trump's first press conference since the certification. Every single network was on, waiting for President Trump. Here's what he said about our economy on January 20th.
Yeah, on January 20th, we'll turn the economy around very quickly because right now when I think of our economy, I think about inflation. That's what we have. We have inflation, I believe, at a level that we never had before. There's never been anything like it. And over the next 4 years, the United States is going to take off like a rocket ship. But really, it's already doing it. If you take a look, just last month, SoftBank announced the $200 billion. I think it'll be 200. He said between 100, and I said, how about making it 200? And he sort of said yes, but let's say it's 100, but it might be 200, right, Brian? Dollars, United States, creating more than 100,000 jobs. Hussein just announced a tremendous investment that he's going to make, and that's money that's in the bank. He's going to come and do it, and he'll do a great job, and he'll build the best centers in the country, I guarantee, because I know the way he builds. Since my election, the stock market has set records. The S&P 500 index has broken above 6,000 points for the first time ever, never even close. In a single month, small business optimism soared 41 points. It's not a 41. It went up 41 points. And that's the largest in the 39-year history of the group that does it. According to Gallup, the American people's confidence in the economy has just surged to the highest level in history.
Oh, man, people cannot wait for Trump to take power. Talking about energy, this is really the crux of it. Because once you get energy prices down, everything comes down. Donald Trump knows that. Joe Biden was clueless about it. Oh, he's blaming Russia, opening up the strategic oil reserves for political purposes because he was getting roasted. Let's listen in on Trump real quick.
It's always hard to bring down prices when somebody else has screwed something up like they did, but we'll bring them down. We'll get them down. Energy is going to bring down prices. We're going to have a lot of energy, and energy is what brought it up. Energy and their bad spending is what brought it up, and energy is going to bring it down. We're going to have prices down. I think you're going to see some pretty drastic price reductions. As an example, food, bacon, ham, apples, everything has gone through the roof. It's one of the reasons I won. So as you know, I said it, inflation was one of the reasons I won, but I think the biggest reason I won was the fact that they are allowing prisoners to come into our country. They released their prisoners, their murderers. Thousands of murderers are now walking around the streets of our cities and farmland all over. Murders, people that have killed. Many, 32% have killed more than one person. They released them from their jails, their prisons, and their mental institutions and insane asylums into our country. I believe that's the reason we got such a large vote.
Well, that, and I think because people are concerned about the dinner table issues. Bad Hombre posts, BuzzFeed and Vice shut down. Layoffs at LA Times, Vox, ESPN, Business Insider at Yahoo News. Salaries frozen and pay cuts at CNN and MSNBC. ABC settled with Trump for defamation. Independent fact checkers tossed into the trash heap. Propaganda loss. The joy is truly back. And speaking of joy, our friends over at The View got some bad news today. Sonny Hostin's husband has just been accused of insurance fraud in a RICO case that's been filed in New York. The lawsuit alleges that Hostin knowingly provided fraudulent medical and other healthcare services, including arthroscopic surgeries. His legal team has denied all allegations. Oh, Sonny. Yeah. Sorry this is happening to you. But now you're going to feel the pain of lawfare. I'm not saying this is politically motivated, but you're going to get a little taste of what Donald Trump's had to deal with for the last several years. And here is the New York, speaking of lawfare, the New York State of Appeals Court has denied President Trump's bid to delay his upcoming Friday sentencing.
And we're going to get our legal eagles up on this because we are just getting word now that the judge in the New York versus Trump case has denied the Trump application for immediate pause of proceedings. You heard the president-elect discussing this earlier in that news conference, but they have said now the application to halt all proceedings, including the sentencing, has been denied. We obviously, John, will have to see where all of this goes next, but that's what we're learning right now.
And that judge is just simply looking to have a notch on his belt, or he wants to, have that award. He wants to have that glory that he was the judge that was able to convict a president-elect before he was president. Trump senior advisor Jason Miller says we're not going to be pushovers anymore, though.
Expand is that he is going to stand up for the United States and our security, whether that be national security, whether that be economic security, and we're not going to be pushovers any longer. We've seen what's happened with the continued Russian aggression in the Arctic Circle and near Greenland as that's become an increasingly powerful shipping lane. We've seen China expand their influence, whether that be in Central or South America. And right now, this is a massive national security risk that China could effectively just flip a switch and the canal would be shut down. This would cause massive chaos and massive havoc to the United States. President Trump is coming in, having done this before, having had this great set of results, looking at the entire chessboard, saying he is going to position the United States in a place where we can succeed. That includes securing our southern border, by the way, Martha, and making sure that folks, even neighbors, even friends such as the Canadians, are no longer taking advantage of us when it comes to economic or trade issues.
Yep, no one's going to take advantage of the United States any longer. Brian Cates says the social media podcast presidency is going to be awesome in the second term. We are anxiously awaiting when this new press secretary takes the helm in the press room there at the White House, and maybe we'll be able to get some press credentials. What do you guys think about that? Trump's new manifest destiny: Panama Canal, control back to America. Gulf of Mexico, now Gulf of America. Canada, the 51st state. Greenland, a U.S. territory. We'll see. Also, some more good news. The House has passed the Laken-Riley Act 264 to 159, mandating detention of illegal aliens arrested for minor crimes like shoplifting. Yeah, let's start at the smallest stuff and get them out. We do not want people who are taking advantage of this great nation of ours. Judge Cannon, other good news, has blocked Crooked Jack Smith from releasing his report on the Trump witch hunt. Of course, if that report was released, all it would do is generate more headlines and more fodder for CNN and MSNBC and Joy Reid and Joy Behar and Rachel Maddow. So, but he's fighting back. I guess he's trying to get more lawyers to get that thing released. Here's Laura Trump saying that they lied when they said they wanted a smooth and peaceful transition. Well, it's because they're trying to tie up Trump in knots before he gets there on January 20th. Let's listen.
And they lied when they said they wanted a smooth and peaceful transition. That was a lie, because what they're doing, throwing everything in Donald Trump's way, trying to thwart the will of the American people and the mandate they sent out on November 5th is absolutely disgraceful. But it is the only thing the Democrats know how to do. And they lied.
Yeah. All they know how to do is lie, 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 and more lie. And Elizabeth Warren, she's triggered. She sent a letter to Secretary of Defense nominee Pete Hegseth, which she claims that having the Deus Vult tattoo, which is Latin for God's will, and a Christian motto that dates back to the First Crusade, makes him a potential insider threat. Yeah, you can't have any any connection to Christianity, of course. But Dan Scavino posted this beautiful AI image of Donald Trump. Looks like he's walking through the streets of maybe it's New York. I just thought I'd share that with you because I thought it was pretty cool. Now we're finding this out. A majority of Republicans, 53%, support a constitutional amendment allowing Trump to run for a third term as president, with 28% opposed. 53% of Republicans. Yeah, that's going to trigger a lot of people. I don't know if that's going to happen, but we'll see. Midas Touch, a known rabid left-wing outlet, posted this, and I'm like, is you trying to troll us here with this? I mean, this is all good news to me. Zuckerberg removed fact-checking and added Dana White to the Meta board. Bezos is paying Melania Trump $40 million for a documentary on Amazon. Kevin O'Leary trying to buy TikTok. ABC paid Trump $15 million to settle a frivolous lawsuit. Elon Musk bought Twitter and turned it into a right-wing propaganda machine. The MAGA media takeover is in full swing. Well, it's about damn time. Yeah, so if they're trying to troll, but no, it's not going to work because we actually appreciate it. And Donald Trump reiterating his support. Let's see. Where was that? Oh, wait, here's a clip. Yes, Donald Trump says the FBI knows who the January 6th pipe bomber is and reiterates January 6th was not an insurrection. This was also today.
The only one that was...
More than 140 police officers were injured by rioters on January 6th. Will you pardon anyone who attacked a police officer?
Well, you know, the only one that was killed was a beautiful young lady named Ashley Babbitt. She was killed, and there was actually somebody else that was killed, also a MAGA person, but people don't give it 100% credibility. I'm going to find out about it, and we're going to find out. But Ashley Babbitt was killed. She was shot. Should have never been shot. She was shot for no reason whatsoever. In fact, they say that she was trying to hold back the crowd, and the crowd was made up of a lot of different people, so we'll see. But I will tell you this, the person that was killed was Ashley Babbitt. The other thing is, when they talk, you know, there was never charges of insurrection or anything like that. But if there were, this would be the only insurrection in history where people went in as insurrectionists with not one gun, okay? And let me tell you, the people that you're talking about have a lot of guns in their home for hunting and for shooting and for entertainment, a lot of good reasons. But there wasn't one gun that they found. And why didn't they find the bomber, the pipe bomber? You know, they know who the pipe bomber is. The FBI knows who it is.
Oh, yeah, we're going to find out soon enough. We also have this. President Trump said he's going to investigate the FBI's involvement in January 6th and will be making pardons.
Defendants.
Mr. President, two questions related to each other. First, you said on your first day of office you're going to pardon January 6th defendants. Are you planning to pardon those who were charged with violent offenses?
Well, we're looking at it, and we have other people in there. And as you see, I guess 24 or 28 people came now from the FBI. That came out very quietly. Nobody reported it, but they had people in some form related to the FBI. They had 4 or 5 people that were strongly related to the FBI. We have to find out about that. We have to find out about Hezbollah. We have to find out about who exactly was in that whole thing, because people that did some bad things were not prosecuted. You know, I see it all the time, and you see it too. People that were doing some bad things weren't prosecuted, and people that didn't even walk into the building are in jail right now. So we'll be looking at the whole thing, but I'll be making major pardons, yes, please.
It's about time. President Trump also rearing support for total offshore wind ban, citing New Jersey. They lit all over our country. We actually played that one. This was another good news to report that a $20 billion investment in the United States is coming. $20 billion.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Hussein.
It's been amazing news for me and my family.
Hussein Sajwani.
Thank you, Mr. President. It's been amazing news for me and my family when he was elected in November. We've been waiting 4 years to increase our investments in U.S. to a very large amount of money. We are a company operating in more than 20 countries around the world. We have delivered more than 45,000 luxury units and another 45,000 in the pipeline. In data center, we are in 10 countries around the world, in Asia, Europe, and Middle East. And we're very, very excited now with his leadership and his open strategy and policy to encourage businesses to come to U.S. For the last 4 years, we've been waiting for this moment. And we're planning to invest $20 billion and even more than that if the opportunity in the market allow us. But at the moment, we're planning $20 billion in data center, catering for the AI and cloud business for the hyperscalers.
Fantastic.
Thank you, Mr.
Great
President.
honor. Thank you very much. So nice.
Yeah, you never heard anyone doing that during the Biden administration. They didn't hold press conferences and said, hey, we're going to have all these investments. Nope. People have been waiting for Trump to return so they can feel safe because a businessman is at the helm. And speaking of money, Trump says we're about to make your wallet great again.
And working with the Republican majorities in Congress will cut taxes, slash regulations, raise wages, and boost incomes at a pace the world has not seen before.
We're going to make your wallet great again. Who's with me? Are you with me? Are you with me? Comment below right now if you are with me on this. Making your wallet great again. Speaking of this is what Benny Johnson. Welcome to the Gulf of America, the Greenland Protectorate, the Northern Colonies, the United States, going all the way down to Mexico. And the Greater American Empire. That's what Penny Johnson posted this picture. I thought that was pretty funny. And here is Trump's Middle Eastern envoy, Steve Witkoff, was asked if there will be a hostage deal.
Back probably either this evening or tomorrow night.
Are you confident there'll be a deal before January 20th, or is that something that's likely to happen? If there's a deal even at all, and we've been hearing this now for the better part of.
I know. I would say.
They better be.
Right. I would say that the president is exasperated. I don't want to talk for him, but look, I don't know anyone who delegates better than President Trump. He gives us a lot of authority to speak on his behalf, and he exhorts us to speak emphatically. And emphatically means you better do this, because the alternative.
Do you think they're waiting for President Trump to take office?
No, I think they heard him loud and clear. Better get done by the inaugural.
But when you say all hell will
Before
be paid,
I take office.
All hell must be paid if they don't release the hostages.
You know what that means, don't you? Well, do I have to define it for you? Look, all hell will break out. If those hostages aren't back, I don't want to hurt your negotiation. If they're not back by the time I get into office, all hell will break out in the Middle East.
Can you elaborate?
And it will not be good for Hamas, and it will not be good, frankly, for anyone. All hell will break out. I don't have to say anymore, but that's what it is. And they should have given them back a long time. They should have never taken them. There should have never been the attack of October 7th. People forget that. But there was, and many people are killed. They're no longer hostages. I have people from Israel and others calling, begging me to get, we had also people there from the United States, just so you know. They're holding some so-called hostages from the U.S. But I've had mothers come to me and fathers crying, can I get the body of their son back? Can I get the body of their daughter back? That beautiful girl where they threw her in the car, pulled her by her ponytail and threw her in the car like she was a sack of potatoes. I said, what happened to her? Sir, she's dead. Like a 19, 20-year-old beautiful girl. And the way they treated her. And I just say it this very simply. Steve's got a job to do. He's a great guy, great negotiator, great person. They respect him over there already. It's what we needed over there. We have people that know everything about the Middle East, but they can't speak properly. They don't know. He's a great negotiator. That's what I needed. I could have sent that gentleman right over there, Hussein. He's a great negotiator. There are people, they're rare. Great negotiators are very rare, like a great surgeon. But we have the right person. But I tell this, I don't want to hurt the negotiation. If the deal isn't done before I take office, which is now going to be 2 weeks, all hell will break out. in the Middle East. Okay?
Thank you, Mr.
Thank you.
President.
You've done a great job.
Thank you.
All hell will break out in the Middle East. Are you guys ready for this? Well, here's what Trump said about the previous administration here, making it difficult. This is what he posted. We are inheriting a difficult situation from the outgoing administration. They're trying everything they can to make it more difficult.
We are inheriting a difficult situation from the outgoing administration, and they're trying everything they can to make it more difficult. Inflation is continuing to rage, and interest rates are far too high. And I've been disappointed to see the Biden administration's attempt to block the reforms of the American people and that they voted for. We had a landslide election. We won every swing state. We won the popular vote by millions and millions of people.
It was too big to rig. Wow. Here's where he says there's going to be sweeping election reform in the new golden age.
Nobody even knows how many people, millions. And they're still counting in some areas. You know, they're still counting the vote in some areas. Can you believe this? What a place. What a horrible place. One of the things we're going to do is we've got to fix the election so that we get honest counts and they get done by 10 o'clock in the evening or something thereabouts. They have places where they're still counting votes. President Biden's actions yesterday on offshore drilling, banning offshore drilling, will not stand. I will reverse it immediately. It'll be done immediately. And we will drill, baby, drill. And we're going to be drilling in a lot of other locations. And the energy costs are going to come way down. They'll be brought down to a very low level. And that's going to bring everything else down. That's what caused it to go up, along with the ridiculous spending on the Green New scam. All this money, trillions of dollars. It's like throwing it right out the window, what they're doing. And they're trying to spend so much now. They're just taking money and giving it to anybody that wants it for any project at all, if it's certified under the Green New scam. And they don't work, and it's too expensive. And, they told me that we're going to do everything possible to make this transition to the new administration very smooth. It's not smooth because they're doing that. They're playing with the courts, as you know. They've been playing with the courts for 4 years, probably got me more votes because I got the highest number of votes ever gotten by a Republican, by far, actually, by a lot. And, we had a great election, so I guess it didn't work. But even to this day, they're playing with the courts. They have their friendly judges that like to try and make everybody happy on the Democrat side. It's called lawfare. It's called weaponization of justice, and it's happened at a level nobody's ever seen before. So many. I defeated deranged Jack Smith. He's a deranged individual. I guess he's on his way back to The Hague, and we won those cases. Those were the biggest ones, and the press made such a big deal out of them, but we did nothing wrong. We did nothing wrong on anything, and the people saw that. When they vote, when a Republican, it's not easy for a Republican. When the Republican wins the popular vote by millions and wins all 7 of the swing states, people said, well, he could win 4. We won all 7, and we won them by a lot. That tells you we won. And they've been watching this injustice. I call it the Injustice Department. What they've done is so bad. The whole world has watched that. And it took work, but it got me a lot of votes because when explained, we have a judge in New York who's a very crooked judge. I'm under a gag order. I can't even talk about aspects of the case that are the most vital aspects. I'm under a gag. Do you know that I'm the president-elect of the United States of America? I'm a former very successful president. We had the greatest economy in the history of our country. We had borders that were sealed and beautiful. Everything was good. We had no wars. We defeated ISIS. We had no wars. Now I'm going into a world that's burning with Russia and Ukraine, with Israel. You took a look at that attack on October 7th, the attack on Israel, with the horrible way they got out. Not the fact that they got out. I would have been out before them. But we would have been out of Afghanistan with dignity and strength as opposed to looking like a bunch of fools with 13 dead and many, many badly, horrifically injured. Nobody ever talks about them. No arms, no legs, Nobody ever talks about them. The way they got out was outrageous, leaving billions of dollars of brand new military equipment that I bought in the hands of the Afghans and specifically the Taliban. It's the group. And we were doing very well. We would have been out. We would have been respected. I think it's one of the reasons it was so badly handled, that withdrawal, where people are jumping onto airplanes, falling off the sides of airplanes when they're 3,000 feet in the air. And nobody's ever seen anything like that, the worst. And because of that, I think Russia went and attacked Ukraine. When they saw that, they said, these guys are incompetent. They don't know what they're doing. But we know what we're doing now. Amen. And that's going to all end. And we have a great military. I defeated ISIS, as you know. We were nobody.
Oh, man. It's coming, baby. It's coming. And, of course, delusion is setting in at the White House, says Kayleigh McEnany. She was once a press secretary.
Mirror. Look, I think delusion is setting in the Biden White House. And I think you see that when his aides are telling people history will view him kindly. I actually believe in the rear view mirror, the Biden presidency is going to look very poor. And I believe that because the Wall Street Journal came out with this report, 50 sources. I mean, think about that, gathering 50 sources. That is an enormous number of sources they gathered. And what they find, the advanced aging was advanced early on, says that in the piece, early on. When you look at this, Chuck Schumer wants us to salute the president. Really? They said they were limiting the information that got to him, the people that got to him, canceling meetings early on. Adam Smith, who is the chair of the House Armed Services Committee, said, hey, I couldn't even get a hold of him with Afghanistan. I tried to call. I got an angry call from Tony Blinken and then an apologetic call from Biden. He said it was the only time he heard from him during the entire presidency. What was the nexus between national security failures and the mental acuity? I don't know that we'll ever know the answer, but I asked Tom Cotton, should they be preserving documents in the White House? And he said, it wouldn't be a bad idea to preserve documents on mental acuity because there's a lot we don't know, and I hope we get to the bottom of it. I think it's a massive scandal. Look, I think...
Oh, there's no question. It's a scandal. It's a huge scandal. Some other good news, some brighter news, literally. Republican Representative Vern Buchanan introduces legislation to make daylight saving time permanent. I am good for that. Eric Darty, he reports that daylight savings time is it's a bill been filed, and the 119th Congress will abolish changing our clocks. H.R. 139 makes daylight savings time permanent. Should it pass, this means we would spring forward later this year and never fall back again. I'm all for it. I hate changing my clocks, and I hope that Donald Trump has the ability to sign that into law. Donald Trump will literally affect time in this country. How awesome is that going to be? So much is happening in this country. The golden age is upon us.
We're approaching the dawn of America's golden age. It's going to be a golden age for America. We have things that nobody else has. We have more than.
That's right. So the numbers don't lie, patriots. While the left screams about impossible promises, Trump's already lining up billions in investments. We're not just talking about an economic recovery. We're talking about an economic revolution, energy independence, manufacturing dominance, and America First policies that'll make the Roaring 20s look like a warm-up act. Now, here's tonight's thought-provoking question for you in the comments. You guys can duke it out. With Trump promising the greatest economic boom in history, should those who actively fought against his return be allowed to benefit from America's coming prosperity? And while we're watching America become great again, show your support with our exclusive MAG Avengers collection, shop.nextnewsnetwork.com, link below. Let everyone know that you were part of the movement that brought back American prosperity. All right. Segment 4 in the can. Guess Trump came back to save the United States. Smoochy. FP Sonny, Mary, no, they should not, she says. Winning Reality has raided the stream. Uh-oh. Winning is here. Watch out, folks. Go check out his channel if you want some cool content. Good friend of mine there. Firecracker. I hate changing clocks too. Yeah, I so totally hate changing clocks. Only God can save us. Amen, Darla. Amen. Broken Patriot says, you guys are tough. Time's up, says Parmis. What's up, Parmis? Good to see you. Okay, let's see how that poll is coming along. Make Canada a state, yes or no? 73% of y'all have said 639 votes. Yes, 73% of you want to make Canada a state. Oh my goodness. Frog 72. They're going to say Trump shortened your days. No, actually, Trump would elongate our days. All right. The sheriff is back in town indeed. Vote for the springtime. Amen. I hate daylight savings. It is such a mess. It is such a mess. Okay. Let's get to the next segment, Brian, shall we? Breaking tonight, the tech oligarchy is crumbling before our eyes. Mark Zuckerberg, the same man who banned a sitting president, just made a desperate pilgrimage to Mar-a-Lago just a few months ago. And suddenly, what a coincidence, Meta's dropping its fact checkers and adding UFC's Dana White to the board. The timing couldn't be more obvious, folks. The left's stranglehold on social media is ending. First, it was X under Elon, now Meta under pressure. The fact checkers are losing their jobs. Community notes are taking over. And the truth, well, the truth is finally breaking free from big tech censorship machine. Now, while Meta's power structure is changing, let's talk about your power bills. They're skyrocketing, just like censorship was under Zuckerberg's reign. But here is the solution. This revolutionary power-saving device is helping thousands of Americans take control of their energy costs. Visit don'twastepower.com and get up to 50% off during their New Year special. Just plug it in and watch your bills drop. Don't let the power companies control your wallet. Take action now at don'twastepower.com and join the thousands already saving big. Okay, so how did we get here? Well, it was Mark Zuckerberg back on November 24th. George Beasy back then said Mark Zuckerberg is currently at Mar-a-Lago meeting with President Trump to avoid going to jail for helping Democrats steal the 2020 election with $400 million. And then Donald Trump News posted the same, actually a couple days later, during his visit to Mar-a-Lago, Mark Zuckerberg has promised Trump that he will work to ensure his Meta platforms grant their users freedom of speech the way X platform is doing it. Do you see the date on that? That's November 28th of 2024. And that's exactly what Mark Zuckerberg announced today. But we're also finding out that Zuckerberg, when he visited Mar-a-Lago, he donated $1 million to Trump's inauguration. Now, Jeff Bezos donated $1 million and also visiting Mar-a-Lago. Yeah,
Bezos himself is founded by the tech billionaire Jeff Bezos, is expected to donate $1 million toward Donald Trump's inauguration fund. This, as Bezos himself is expected to visit Trump in person in the coming days down in South Florida. And this is news that comes just one day after we learned that Meta, Facebook's parent company and founded by Mark Zuckerberg, also gave $1 million to Trump's fund. Both tech billionaires have their own histories with Donald Trump, but it appears that they are leaving all of that behind, maybe even taking a page out of Elon Musk's playbook. Of course, he himself spent over $250 million supporting Trump's campaign, catapulting himself directly into the president-elect's orbit. Now, with only 39 days to go until Trump is back in office, we are seeing the billionaires working to ingratiate themselves with him, as they are certainly top of mind for him. I have new
Well, of course, that was a report from December 13th of last year. Now, Laura Loomer, she made this point on November 27th of last year. Crazy how Zuckerberg had dinner at Mar-a-Lago. Guess we're just supposed to forget about how he deplatformed a sitting U.S. president, then silenced all of Trump's supporters. Zuckerberg even censored the picture of Trump surviving the assassination attempt. Shocking. Here's the headline from when it happened. Trump banned from Facebook indefinitely, CEO Mark Zuckerberg says. Well, now Zuckerberg is singing a different tune. Now, keeping in the timeline of events, before we get to the big announcement that was made today, this is Shadow of Ezra. November 27, 2024, Zuckerberg made a desperate visit to Mar-a-Lago, reportedly pleading to avoid prison time.
Politico is reporting that Mark Zuckerberg was at Mar-a-Lago today meeting with President Trump. Can you confirm that?
Yes, that's correct. And Mark Zuckerberg has been very clear about his desire to be a supporter of and a participant in this change that we're seeing all around America, all around the world with this reform movement that Donald Trump is leading. Mark Zuckerberg, like so many business leaders, understand that President Trump is an agent of change, an agent of prosperity.
Right.
And so business leaders, CEOs everywhere, they want to be an element, a supporter, a booster of making our economy prosperous, delivering for American workers, and making sure that America is the most powerful, wealthiest, freest nation on the face of the earth. So we'll see what comes of that. And Mark, obviously, he has his own interests, and he has his own company, and he has his own agenda, but he's made clear that he wants to support the national renewal of America under President Trump's leadership.
Wow. That was Stephen Miller on Fox back when Zuckerberg went down to Mar-a-Lago. Personally, and I think when we initially reported on Zuckerberg and Bezos, I felt that those guys, they were just jealous. They were on the outside looking in. Elon Musk was having all the fun at Mar-a-Lago. They wanted a piece of the action. They write some big checks. They go down, make some big promises. And now we're finding out what some of those promises were. Okay, here we have Trump winning the election. Zuckerberg meets Trump at Mar-a-Lago. Electors certified. Dana White immediately put on the Meta board of directors. Facebook instantly changes its policies on censorship and politics. Probably nothing. All coincidence, right? I don't think so.
Storing free expression.
So here is Mark Zuckerberg, part of his announcement from today.
Storing free expression on our platform. So we're going to get back to our roots and focus on reducing mistakes, simplifying our policies, and restoring free expression on our platforms. More specifically, here's what we're going to do. First, we're going to get rid of fact checkers and replace them with community notes similar to X, starting in the US. After Trump first got elected in 2016, the legacy media wrote nonstop about how misinformation was a threat to democracy. We tried in good faith to address those concerns without becoming the arbiters of truth. But the fact checkers have just been too politically biased and have destroyed more trust than they've created, especially in the US. So over the next couple of months, we're going to phase in a more comprehensive community notes system. Second, we're going to simplify our content policies and get rid of a bunch of restrictions on topics like immigration and gender that are just out of touch with mainstream discourse. What started as a movement to be more inclusive has increasingly been used to shut down opinions and shut out people with different ideas, and it's gone too far. So I want to make sure that people can share their beliefs and experiences on our platforms. Third.
Before you get to your third point, Mark, does that mean you're going to remove all the phony fact checks that I got from overseas, from weirdos I couldn't even read the language? Are you going to remove them off of my Facebook page and allow me to upload video there again? That'd be great, Mark. I haven't been able to upload video to my Facebook page for Next News Network in probably a year.
How we enforce our policies to reduce the mistakes.
Okay, here's point 3. New approach to policy enforcement, Mark Zuckerberg.
That account for the vast majority of censorship on our platforms. We used to have filters that scanned for any policy violation. Now, we're going to focus those filters on tackling illegal and high-severity violations. And for lower severity violations, we're going to rely on someone reporting an issue before we take action. The problem is that the filters make mistakes, and they take down a lot of content that they shouldn't. So by dialing them back, we're going to dramatically reduce the amount of censorship on our platforms. We're also going to tune our content filters to require much higher confidence before taking down content. The reality is that this is a trade-off. It means we're going to catch less bad stuff, but we'll also reduce the number of innocent people's posts and accounts that we accidentally take down.
Fuck you.
Fourth, we're bringing back civic content. For a while, the community asked to see less politics because it was making people stressed, so we stopped recommending these posts. But it feels like we're in a new era now, and we're starting to get feedback that people want to see this content again. So we're going to start phasing this back into Facebook, Instagram, and Threads while working to keep the communities friendly and positive. Fifth, we're going to move our trust and safety and content moderation teams out of California, and our US-based content review is going to be based in Texas. As we work to promote free expression, I think that...
He said he's moving to Texas? What?
Want to see this content again. So we're going to start phasing this back into Facebook, Instagram, and Threads while working to keep the communities friendly and positive. Fifth, we're going to move our trust and safety and content moderation teams out of California, and our US-based content review is going to be based in Texas. As we work to promote free expression, I think that it will help us build trust to do this work in places where there is less concern about the bias of our teams. Finally, we're going to work with President Trump to push back on governments around the world that are going after American companies and pushing to censor more.
Wow. Zuckerberg bending the knee. Oh, it's long overdue. Long overdue. Juanita Broderick posting this 5 hours ago. Funniest damn thing I've read today. Emergency International Fact-Checking Network meeting has been called. Meta is ending U.S. fact-checking partnerships and shifting crowdsourced moderation tools. The International Fact-Checking Network called an emergency meeting after the announcement. Cat Turd making it very clear. Don't trust this snake. If Kamala would have won, he'd be censoring you even more. And I think that this was part of the negotiations, the art of the deal that took place when Zuckerberg went down to Mar-a-Lago. And Zuckerberg and Trump, they had a meeting, and Zuckerberg's like, well, why don't you put my boy Dana over there on the board? Dana, of course, is a free speech absolutist. And, you know, maybe he'll be able to keep Mark in line. Meta adding a new board member, including UFC head Dana White. Dinesh D'Souza jokes. He says they could probably find some new business from the governments of China, North Korea, and Cuba. Too bad for them. The old Soviet Union's out of business because the fact checkers claim they were blindsided by Meta's decision to end their partnership. Reportedly fear they won't be able to secure new business to fill the void, putting them at risk. Good. Sadie says, I don't trust Facebook or Zuckerberg as far as I can throw them. He censored people, banned President Trump. I think the only reason he's changed his tune because he sees the majority of people love Trump, and X has overtaken social media. He is a snake. Meta's fact-checking was very biased and extremely biased. And of course, don't forget that the fact-checkers at Meta also included the FBI. Libs of TikTok, she reported this same point, that the fact-checkers at Meta were reportedly blindsided by the news. Their partnerships were ending and are now afraid they won't be able to survive without Meta's funding, according to Wired. Bye-bye, you will not be missed. Yeah, the fact-checkers finally out. And Mario Nafal actually pointed this out. This was actually quite funny. He says, I'm never deleting this app. Incoming FCC chairman and the world's richest man have an entire conversation with memes and emojis, both trolling Zuckerberg. Nothing better than X. So it was Brendan Carr, who's the new FCC chair, who's already put the social media companies on notice. He posted this in response to the video of Zuckerberg, his announcement today. And that's the famous GIF. And if you know what he's like making the face. He's like, oh, yes, 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 right? And Elon Musk posting this emoji. Oh, can I show it to you? Show it. There it is. As you can't see it. Whatever. It's thumbs up and a fire. Okay, there it is. They're just having fun on X. Patriot Lady says, hopefully Dana White will be able to bring some sanity to the table at Meta. However, usually These board positions are ceremonial unless you're invested in the company. I still don't trust Zuckerbucks. And in other corporate news, another huge win, fast food giant McDonald's to abandon diversity goals in hiring, DEI, to stop participating in woke nonprofit corporate equity index. So McDonald's, they're out. And let's take a trip back to when Kash Patel appeared on the Alec Lace show. And here's what Kash had to say about that meeting with Mark Zuckerberg.
And let's put Zuckerberg as a fraud, pretending to care about American democracy and the election. This guy spent $400 million last election cycle, and I don't care what he says, he is going to spend money somehow, some way in this election cycle. And let's put that aside. He owns one of the largest social media companies on earth in Facebook, Meta, and Instagram. I didn't hear the CEO and owner, Mark Zuckerberg, come out and say, I guarantee you my companies will not participate in censorship at the behest of the FBI or anyone else in the federal government, like we did in the last 2 elections, like we did with Hunter Biden's laptop, like we did with the 51 Intel letter. He could have said that, but he didn't, because he wants it to happen. And as a sort of proactive, preemptive move to say, oh, I told you so, he came out to the media and said, oh, my bad, I'm sorry. But it doesn't matter to these guys, because they're going to go past November 5th. And if they get their way and Harris is awarded the victory, they're just going to be like, nothing to see here. And if Donald Trump wins, they'll come back and say, see, our companies tried to comply. But it's BS. And Zuckerberg is the biggest fraud in big business.
And that's what happened. Trump won, and they came crawling to Mar-a-Lago. So big changes happening in the social media world. And we have here's the news when it broke.
Instagram. Major announcement this morning from Meta, the parent company of the social media apps Facebook, Instagram, and also WhatsApp. In a video posted on his platforms today, Meta CEO Mark Zuckerberg announced changes to the company's fact-checking policy. NBC News senior Washington correspondent Hallie Jackson joins us now with the latest on this. Hallie, good morning.
Hey there, good morning to you. And this morning, Mark Zuckerberg is announcing some new changes for Meta, calling the recent elections a cultural tipping point towards prioritizing free speech. So this morning, he's announcing that Meta, which of course owns Facebook and Instagram, will move away from the independent, nonpartisan fact-checking they've had in place since after the 2016 election. Instead, he says they will rely on community notes. In other words, users putting out context. This is similar to what X is doing. Zuckerberg says Meta's complex moderation system makes too many mistakes with too much censorship. Meta also plans to get rid of restrictions on topics like immigration and gender and move their content moderation team from California to Texas, among other things, all essentially loosening up the way that Facebook moderates its content. This is all happening less than 2 weeks before President-elect Trump is sworn in. And as Zuckerberg and some of these other tech titans look to be making inroads with the incoming administration, after Mr. Trump's victory in November, Zuckerberg traveled to Mar-a-Lago. His company also donated about $1 million to the Trump Inaugural Fund. Keep in mind the backdrop here, right? Over the next 4 years, the Trump administration will set federal policy in areas like AI and antitrust that are really important to Meta and some of these other big tech companies, too. Lots to watch on the tech front this morning as it relates to politics. But for now, back to you.
Game over. Zuckerberg bends the knee. Elon Musk says, this is cool. Facebook dumps fact-checkers in attempt to restore free speech. Zuckerberg says moderators too politically biased as he pledges a system similar to X. Oh, here's Ron Paul. Oh, yeah, baby. Give me some Ron Paul.
Facebook sent Mark Zuckerberg, he met with Trump, and he also apologized a couple months ago, I guess, for the fact that they were taking orders from the White House to censor people. But they've made a switch. Fact checkers are too politically biased. Zuckerberg abandons Facebook censorship for X-like community notes, which is quite interesting because a lot of people were banned. I was banned from Facebook for many months for something that was their fault, not my fault. So now he's saying, you know what? It didn't really work that well to outsource all this stuff. We're going to follow Elon Musk and his free speech model. Now, Musk's model is not perfect, and a lot of people have complained about some aspects to it. However, it's undeniable that there's more ability to express yourself without worrying or self-censoring. So it's interesting that Zuckerberg has decided to follow that model.
You know, and I don't think.
Okay, so actually, here is the good doctor, Congressman Ron Paul, reacting to the news.
It's all of a sudden a springing up of righteousness and them doing the right thing. I think that this is a reflection that the attitudes have changed, you know, and the people are resisting it. Once again, the people. I think it was a business decision on their part too. So that's not you know, a dictator writing another law. That's the people in a large vote are saying, and I think the vote was, you know, reflected in the last election. They're sick and tired of all this stuff. And when did he do this? After the election.
Yeah,
you know, he decided to back off.
Yeah, it's interesting. I'll put on the next clip because this is what he said. He said, quote, more specifically, we're going to get rid of fact checkers and replace them with community notes similar to X, starting in the U.S. He went on to point the finger at the real problem, quote, after 2016, the legacy media wrote nonstop about how misinformation was a threat to democracy. We tried in good faith to address these concerns without being the arbiters of truth, but the fact checkers have just been too politically biased. That's a fascinating admission on a number of fronts, Dr. Paul. The first is, well, why are you bending with the wind of what the mainstream media is saying in the first place? Why don't you have some courage? Why don't you have some conviction and say, well, we're not going to be bullied by the New York Times into doing, you know, the bidding of the censors for them? No, but now that it's not fashionable to do it, now they're changing their tune and saying, well, we hired a bunch of really bad people to be our censors, and they were so biased. We're just realizing it now after 8 years later.
Yeah. 8 years too late, if you ask me. The damage has been done. So we're going to keep a close eye on what's going on at Facebook. Maybe we'll get some of our privileges back over there. Who knows? But the social media revolution is here, patriots. Meta's fact checkers are packing up their censorship toolkits, and freedom of speech is making a comeback from banning Trump to begging for mercy at Mar-a-Lago. How the mighty have fallen. But here is what the mainstream media won't tell you. This isn't just about Meta. It's about the complete dismantling of the left's information control system. So here's tonight's explosive question for you to duke it out in the comments. Should the fact checkers who help silence conservative voices be held legally accountable for their role in suppressing American free speech? And while you're watching the social media empire crumble, grab your MAGA Avengers merch at the merch shop, shop.nextnewsnetwork.com. It's linked below. Show the world you stood for truth when the tech giants try to silence it. All right, let's see what you guys are saying over here in the chat room. I did see that there was some gifted memberships just came through. Let's see what happened here. Who did it? R. Boyd. Look at that. R. Boyd gifting 5 memberships. Alex Cersei. Whoa, there's a bunch of... Okay. Sure You Gospel. I'm actually blocked by Midas Touch. Good for you. Good for you. Trump knows the power of words, says Geneva Wilkerson. Alice Cersei, Texas for better taxes. That's what she says. R. Boyd giving 5 Next News Network memberships. Crypto Crackhead, Michelle C., Leslie Corpus, and Bob Roberts, and Whistle Stop Cafe. Welcome to the club. We got 6 new members. Our chat revenue a little low tonight, $33.98. I guess I'm not really doing that good of a job. I guess I don't deserve it, huh? Yeah. No tips for Gary tonight, apparently. So I get it. No, I only bust my ass all day, every day, trying to bring you guys the latest news. But, yeah, I've only got a family to feed and Brian to pay. And, I'll get by, though. Don't worry. I love you guys. I just got to bust your balls a little bit. Okay, let's check in with the next news feed. Yes, we're gold check now, baby. We got the gold check on X because we are worth it, baby. That's right. We are worth it. Thank you, Brian, for bringing up that post. What is this? What are we looking at here? Patriot Token says that this is the final finish and polish underway for the Patriot statue of real Donald Trump. The finish we chose is the most detailed and labor-intensive possible, truly historical to fit to match the grandeur of Donald J. Trump's legacy. Not sure what's going to see here, but it looks like it's going to be pretty cool. Sean Ryan catching some heat for that email that he reported on with respect to that bomber, the Cybertruck bomber. Newsweek Sean Ryan podcast guest apologizes after Michael Libelsberger episode. He says, I literally never said any of this. You took his quote and wrote a whole fake article attributing it to me and giving a fake thing to apologize for. Please correct the article and the headline. This is why no one can trust the legacy media anymore. And this is why Trump won. Massive fires, Palisades fires, ravaging California right now. Peachy Keenan says, breaking news, my neighborhood is next. Pray for me. Look at the fires just raging. Oh, man. Man, this is, look at this. Holy cow. Look at Los Angeles, California. The Los Angeles Fire Department's issued an emergency message urgently calling all available personnel and individuals with firefighting experience to join the fight. Holy cow. California is burning. Elon Musk going to war against the Prime Minister of England, saying he is complicit in the crimes that he let through. He knew what was happening to the children. The Republican-controlled House passed the Laken-Riley Act. That's some more good news to report. Looks like we did get some more. I guess my guilt trip brought in almost $25. Mary. Thank you, Mary. And from Alice as well. Alice, feed the kitties, she says. All right. I'll be able to get them some cereal and some milk, I think, for about $20. Thank you. I'll let the kids know. I'm not sure what this is, but it looks pretty cool. What is this? Maybe some kind of music thing. Okay. Los Angeles Fire Department again. Unreal. Oh, wow. Bulldozer clears cars as Palisades Fire forces evacuation. Fire crews use a bulldozer to clear 30 abandoned vehicles at Sunset Boulevard and Palisades Drive to access a 1,200-acre fire. Look at that footage. Look at that. People just abandoning their vehicles, and they have nothing else to do. They got to move the cars so they can get access to fight this fire. Crypto Crackhead, what's up? Trump is the greatest president in my lifetime. We got £5 sterling. Ha ha! Thank you, Crypto Crackhead. Trump is the greatest president, he says. Thank you. John Fetterman says that Democrats can't get 7 votes in the Senate to pass the Laken-Riley Act, and that's the reason why we lost. Well, it's about the Senate now. Dershowitz predicts Supreme Court liberals will go along with halting lawfare against Trump. We can hope that to be true. Okay, what is this? Reporter McCabe, USS Gerald R. Ford, arrives in Norfolk, Virginia following its 8-month maiden deployment. The Ford Carrier Strike Group completed deployment in the 6th Fleet areas of operation. Is the screen frozen? No, it's not. Okay. Maybe I'm just just getting laggy over here. You know what that means, folks. Polar vortex. You got fire on the Fire on the West Coast, and you got ice on the East Coast. Polar vortex keeps much of the U.S. in its icy grip. Goodness, what is going on? David Axelrod says that Trump keeping promises could be good for the country. Wow, listen to that. Never thought I'd hear David Axelrod say that. He's actually agreeing with Trump's promises being good. Man, the tide has definitely turned, man. Yeah. Wow. Stelter goes after Musk and the MAGA makeover of social media. Okay, folks. It's time. It is that time. $65.22. Thank you, guys. Oh, and from Laura. Thank you, Laura. Your first super chat on a live stream. $5. What's up? Bring the cash. We're at $70 right now. We're at $70. Now, ladies and gentlemen, what we have witnessed tonight isn't just news. It's the unveiling of America's next chapter. From the Panama Canal to Greenland, from Canada to the implosion of big tech censorship machine, we're watching the pieces of Trump's master plan fall into place. Now, let's recap what we have uncovered. Trump's not just talking about taking back the Panama Canal. He is actually putting military and economic options on the table. China's influence there is about to end. And Greenland, Don Jr.'s historic visit speaks volumes. And the people are ready. They're wearing MAGA hats and they know which way the wind is blowing. And so does Susie, because she just gave $19.99. Thank you, Susie, for that. She knows which way it's going. And then we got Canada, our neighbors to the north. Yeah, they might actually become our 51st state, which I doubt, though. Economic force, though, is a powerful tool, and Trump knows exactly how to use it. Meanwhile, the golden age of America is on the horizon. We're talking about a $200 billion investment from SoftBank alone, energy independence, and an economic rocket ship that's about to launch. And our Boyd also dropping $10 in the last few minutes of the show. Join N3 as a member. Let's get this going. Thank you. And of course, let's not forget Mark Zuckerberg's stunning reversal. From banning a sitting president to making that pilgrimage to Mar-a-Lago, now suddenly fact checkers are out. Dana White is in. A coincidence? I think not. But here is the thing, Patriots. We can only keep bringing you this unfiltered truth with your support. The mainstream media wants this silence. They don't want you to know about Trump's plans for American expansion, about the economic revolution that's coming, about the dismantling of big tech censorship machine. That's why we need your help. So head to the links in the description if you want to make a private donation and just, do it on the down low. Doesn't have to be a super chat, just at your own will. That's what keeps the show going. Your support means we can keep fighting the good fight. Speaking of fighting the good fight, a massive thank you to everyone who sent in super chats and Rumble rants tonight. $100. We broke $100 tonight. Wow. I can get a couple more boxes of cereal for the kids. I'll tell Angie. Yes, your voices matter, and they are being heard by millions worldwide. You are not just viewers, you're part of a movement that is reshaping history. Now, before we go, don't forget to visit our merch shop. Come on, what are you waiting for? Check it out. At least go look. It's linked below, shop.nextnewsnetwork.com. I mean, the show's ending. What else are you going to do? Go browse the shop. Grab your exclusive limited edition Next News swag, whether it's a Next News coffee mug or our Mag Avengers gear. You can show the world that you're a part of the most trusted name in news. And most importantly, tell a friend about what you've seen tonight. The algorithms might try to silence us, but they can't stop word of mouth. Share the stream. Spread the truth. And be part of the movement that is making America great again. This is Gary Franchi for the Raw Feed. And we'll see you next time, Patriots. God bless America, and God bless you all.